77, 78, and 79, he was the best player in all of baseball.
Dave Parker, who continues to show why some people consider him the greatest player in the game. One big hop. Watch it. Great play by Carter, as you said, Joe. A strong throw. Downing tries to slide inside, away from the ball. Carter blocks him off. What we told you about the Bermuda Triangle from second base to right around that spot and back out towards center field. But what a recovery to show a tremendous throwing arm with a perfect one-hopper to say to get right.
Well, it's my pleasure to have the man, the legend, the Cobra, one Mr. Dave Parker with us today. And hello, Mr. Parker. Welcome to the show, and thanks for coming on.
My pleasure.
Well, man, it's I'll tell you, it's a little intimidating even now. Like for me, like I don't feel like the pitchers felt, but man, this is great. All right, I wanted to ask, you were drafted as a catcher in 70, I believe, right?
Yeah, 70, 71.
71. All right, so when you made the transition to right field, a couple people have asked me, and I've been curious, did Roberto Clemente help you make that transition into what you were as a right fielder?
Well, he basically taught me how to maximize the velocity on my arm and taught me how to reach back and, you know, get the ball from a lower position, which made it go a lot harder and further.
Yeah, and it went far. I mean, I read a story, and I don't know if this is true. In the 77 All-Star game, there were you, Dave Winfield, Reggie Smith, and Ellis Valentine. All you guys just had cannons for arms. Did you guys have a throwing contest at that All-Star game?
Yeah, we had one in 77 at Yankee Stadium, and all those guys kind of congregated out to the right field, and it just happened. It wasn't anything planned. It's just that we all ended up in the same spot, and that was right field. And they could have sold some major tickets for that because it was something to see.
Who had the best arm?
I say Reggie Smith.
Really?
But it wasn't as accurate. He had a lot of velocity. The ball would just fly all over the place. But he had probably the strongest and accuracy was Winfield, Valentine, and myself.
Man, nice. Who was the best looking?
No doubt.
See, that's the important thing. So, I mean, another thing I wanted to ask about was, what was it, John Stearns in 78 when you had that collision, broke your jaw?
Right.
Now, when you came out with that hockey mask, was that your idea or was that like an equipment manager?
Well, it was my idea. I had to find some helmet that I could keep my vision and utilize to protect my jaw. And I tried a hockey one at first, and that one didn't work. Then I went to my old quarterback friend, Ted Bradshaw, who had one that fit perfectly, and that helped me get back in the lineup a lot quicker.
And I guess you had probably have better vision with the football face mask, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then talk about intimidating. You're in the on-deck circle with the hockey mask. Were you swinging the sledgehammer at that time in the on-deck circle?
Yeah, they had called me in to pitch hit. And I got the opportunity to go to the on-deck circle. And I think we was playing San Diego, and they looked at me and looked at my hammer and decided not to pitch to me at all and walked me intentionally.
Really? They gave you a free pass when they saw you come up?
Yeah, they gave me a free pass.
Oh, that's incredible. That's incredible. So now the sledgehammer, did that start? I read that it started with Willie Stargell. Is that where it came from, or did you start it?
We all used it. We started using it at spring training. I had one that I used during the winter months inside the gym, and I was swinging 100 times a day strengthen my hand and my forearm. So I was using it year round.
Man, that's got to develop strength more than, you know, a donut on a bat. That's incredible. I mean, it's okay. In 1978, obviously, you know, your MVP season, halfway through, that's when you came up with your famous line, right? The when the leaves turn brown. Is that 78?
I started doing it way before 78.
Really?
It was just something that I put together. When the leaves turn brown, I'll be wearing the batting crown. So,
oh, man.
You know, just threw a little something out there with some flavor, and people seemed to enjoy it, caught on to it, and it was heard all over the country.
It's still, I mean, that's up there with like an Ali quote. And I mean, I've heard comparisons to you and Ali. You got to meet him at some point, didn't you? Were you with the Angels or?
Yeah, I met Ali on several occasions. I met him at a event that they were having here in Cincinnati in the winter. And we didn't have a chance to really talk for a long time because people were all over us. And that's when I first met him. But, you know, Ali, you just want to be around him. You know, you don't want to miss anything. And that's the way it was with me and him. Anytime I got a chance, I'd, you know, get in his ear.
That's an incredible guy to be around. Okay. 1984, you wound up with your hometown Reds. And you just had a resurgence. You just came right back on fire. It was the Cobra again. And I mean, was that partially just because you were you were home, you were playing at home and you were comfortable, or what was it, that you were just healthy, or a combination?
Healthy.
Yeah.
Healthy. You can't perform without good health.
Yeah.
And I had 2 knee surgeries during the off season. Had thumb ruptured, a couple of those. So I had some bad luck happen to me during that time.
Yeah.
So it was just getting healthy and being the same player that I was all the time. And matter of fact, if Peterson would have went on and signed me, tried to sign me, I might have signed, because I was a diehard Pirate from the beginning to the end. And if Peterson would have made a decent offer, I could have probably been still a Buckle.
Really? And so, well, now when you got to the Reds, there were some young players on that team, and I know Barry Larkin and Eric Davis cite you as kind of their mentor, that you took them under your wing. I believe there was a moment where you and somebody else took Larkin outside and kind of gave him a little kick in the ass to get right. And he said he, just forever loves you for it. Was that?
I just reminded Barry, it's easy to do. You got the best lights to play under. You're facing the best pitching, so you shouldn't have no problems getting no strikes. So just buckle down and be the player that you've been the whole time. And that was something that I emphasized to him, and Harry backed it up. And Barry caught on and ended up Hall of Famer.
Yeah, that's incredible. I mean, was there a player when you were young that kind of took you under his wing and did the same thing? Like, I know Doc Ellis was a guy that I read in spring training, kind of kept you cool. And
yeah, Doc was like a big brother. And Starger was like even a bigger brother. So those were the guys that kind of took me on the wing and showed me what it took to be a big league ball player. So that was Starger and Ellis. And I loved them both.
And I also wanted to talk a little bit about the Dave Parker 39 Foundation. Just to get some awareness out there. If you'd like to kind of explain, let people know what it is and how they can donate.
Well, it's a foundation and Parkinson is the charity, because I have Parkinson's, and I have tried to do some things to generate some revenue to do research, and been doing it now for almost 10 years. So that's my charity. It's Dave Parker 39. It's the name of the charity.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing really good work with it. There's some great shirts for sale on that website too. So I hope everybody comes in and gets one of those shirts. I have 2 already. Okay. I just wanted to ask maybe 1 or 2 more. That's a great ringtone.
Yeah, Sly Stone.
Yeah, it is. I would expect nothing less.
You know anything about that?
Oh man, I'm a bass player. I know Sly Stone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, I know. And Larry Graham was a bad man.
Yep, you know him.
Yep. I just want maybe 1 or 2 more. I wanted to ask, okay, in 1978 and 77, when nobody could get you out and you were wearing the batting crown, when the leaves were brown, were there any pitchers that gave you a fit? Were there any pitchers that, kind of gave you a hard time, or were you just crushing everybody?
Carlton was tough.
Yeah.
He would punch me out about 3 times a game when I faced him, and then he would throw a slider middle of the plate out, and he was just tough to hit. But I would get him 1 out of 4 times the majority of the time. Frankly, he was the guy that struck me out more than any other pitcher I ever faced, and I hit more home runs off of him than any pitcher I ever faced. So it's feast or famine.
It's pretty sweet revenge right there. When you went to Oakland, what was that? I think 1988. And you wound up winning again in 89, your second World Series. That team had some big personalities on it. I mean, you had Rickey Henderson, you had McGuire, Canseco. How did you keep those guys in line? I mean,
Just verbalized. When I first got to Oakland, Rickey didn't come to Oakland A's until later. So when he did show up, I pulled him to the side and got a lot of the guys together. And I said, we check all egos at the front door, Rickey, before you get in here. And broke ice with him. He fell in love with the environment. And just with me making that little commentary, it made him very loyal to us.
That's great. I mean, that was a great team. That 89 team was amazing. And,
yeah.
Man, that must have been fun. Well, how did that feel compared to the first World Series? I mean, was it any different? Still same feeling? Or?
Yeah, it was a big difference. Pittsburgh was a hard fighting team. We had to scratch and paw and do everything in the world to win. And in Oakland, you had a lineup that you had to have a storybook to tell people about it. And Oakland was probably the best team I ever played for. But Pittsburgh had more fun.
It looked fun. I mean, the We Are Family Pirates, that looked like a lot of fun. I've seen a lot of film on that team, and it looked like you guys you really were a family too. I mean, it just seemed like you just got together, you rallied together, you picked each other up. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, we did. Well, Chuck believed in letting people police themselves, and that's the way we were. And guys took care of guys. Saw a guy, dragging his tail. I mean, you tell him immediately, get that done, because that was our responsibility as fellow teammates.
Man. Do you think we're going to see a baseball season this year with everything that's going on, or do you think it's just not going to happen?
That Players Association is awful tough.
It really.
I'd be surprised to see baseball this year.
Well, let's hope there's something, but I think you might be right. But, you know, they are tough. They're not going to bend. So, Mr. Parker, I want to say thank you. And it means the world to me. I mean, you're always a favorite player of mine, too. So, really means a lot for you coming on here. And just want to say thank you.
Well, I'm glad I could help.
Well, I appreciate it. You know, if
I think we did good. Covered a whole lot of ground.
I know, I agree. All right. Well, thank you.
Had me reminiscing about the old days.
Well, that's kind of what I like doing, man. That's, you know, that's why these are fun. You know, it's like, you know, I just love having, you know, being able to give guys that played in your generation a voice instead of, you know, the 22-year-old kids and everything that seem to run everything. And I think, you know, younger players can learn a lot from what you guys have to say. So I really appreciate it. So thank you very much.
Okay, no problem.
Mr. and Mrs. Parker, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. That was an honor. I love that you're wearing the shirt, too. That's awesome.
I thought I'd do that for you.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. All right, sir. Have a great day, okay?
All right, you too.
Thank you so much.
All right.